And so it was said that if the pillars of the world shall fall, darkness will descend upon all that lives. From the Book of the Dark. Man did not heed this warning. The sacred cosmic tree burned to cinder. And so the darkness came, claiming all that was bright and living in Thea, when all hope was lost. After a century without light, the sun rose once more. Thea awakened from her dark slumber, and you along with her. But Thea is not the world that once was. The age of darkness weakens, but it is far from over. Life took its shy roots, yet death will not release its grip easily. While the sun keeps some of the evil in check during the fleeting days, at night the creatures of darkness roam free and angry, unwilling to give up their dominion over the land. It is up to you to find a way to rebuild Thea, banish the darkness, and strengthen mankind.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Let's Play Thea, The Awakening. Thea is in essence a strategy management game with heavy RPG elements that is story driven, and I have absolutely fallen in love with this game when I was trying it on my stream during Christmas. Now, I'm gonna do a small forward to Thea. I published already one video where I asked people to sign up for the Let's Play because each of the characters in the game is an individual person. So this application is still open. If any one of you wants to join and have your character in my village in Thea, you are welcome to do so. Now I'm also going to explain the game as we go through it in quite a lot of detail in the beginning and less detail as we go. So if you have any questions about the game, please feel free to ask, because some of the things in the game are actually quite complex. So this is enough as a forward. What remains to be said is that this is made by an indie studio that is currently working on Thea 2. So if you will like the Let's Play, I would, from all of my heart suggest you either back up that project or you actually buy this game, which is maybe even a better way how to support them. So let's go with a new game. Now, Thea is strongly based on Slavic mythology, which already makes it quite unique. You start with a choice of two gods, I think Veles and Svarog, and as you go through you unlock other gods. Now, I've been almost exclusive, well, not almost exclusive, but I have been playing only Veles as the first god because I kind of like him. I check the other gods. The only one I might be interested in is Perun, maybe even Zoria, but Veles in its essence is a god of wisdom. He was the god also of crops and other things. So let's read this little thingy here. Veles, the keeper of the underworld, master of mystical powers and guardian of souls. That was your name before the great darkness. Now you are simply Veles, a lost god trying to reclaim his might. The gates to the afterlife are slammed shut. Souls of the dead roam Thea and wreak havoc among the living. All you can do for now is continue to guide your ragged group of followers towards survival. So from this you understand that the god you choose is pretty much you in the game, in a sort of a semi-mystical way, because you can encounter yourself, but it's kind of fun, I played, I think, 3 games in Thea. All of them gone horribly wrong in the end, so don't worry, there will be quite a lot to see still. Now, each of the gods, depending on how much you play them, gives you a certain amount of bonuses. As you can see here, I unlocked for Veles, so we will have a bit of a boost in the beginning. But don't worry, I'm gonna get to the difficulty soon. And as you can see, the true god of Thea, which I believe is the highest difficulty that we're gonna play on, is gonna make this seem like a joke. So each of our villagers will research a bit faster. We are strong-willed. All of our villagers will get +2 bonus to armor during challenges versus disease, curse, and intellect. We have small magic tricks open. One of our villagers is an elder sage, wiser and more experienced than any other youth, which is awesome. People signed up for a sage, so I'm gonna start with one. And we get Elder's Blood's Blessing. All our villagers gain +2 bonus to magic. We haven't unlocked the Death's Touch, which... Oh wow, that would mean that we all deal poison damage. Awesome. But yeah, we don't have the last one. Now, I'm gonna show you the difficulty setting that I have. I don't know how godlike is like. I think that's like 200, and we're playing on 310 score multiplier, so that's pretty incredible. The only thing that I haven't maxed out is the enemy aggressiveness, which I leave on high. That makes like the 10% of difference, because trust me, Furious is insane in many ways, and I don't feel ready for that because I don't know all the intricate workings of the game itself. So we're playing on an extremely huge world, which makes it slightly difficult. We're gonna have world progression as in True Thea. There's Snail, Normal, and True Thea. I think this increases the difficulty of all the encounters by 1 every like 20 to 30 turns. The economy is insane. Challenge difficulty is the highest. Enemy aggressiveness, as I said, is second highest. It's actually the middle ground. We're starting, however, this I make a point of. We're starting with the maximum number of villagers, because I want to make as many people in this Let's Play from the very beginning. That's one point that I want to do. And second is that this will make sure that unless... that in case, not unless, but in case someone dies in the beginning during the Let's Play, which can happen pretty easily, trust me, it won't be over before we even started, because I played with 7, and there you absolutely need each one of your villagers, and once kick the bucket, it's game over. So I might do that later on, start with 7, to, you know, if we manage to get through all of this game. But 10 for now. 10 for now. Trust me, it's best. We have no reshuffles. I'm gonna get to that later on. We have no saves. The realism is on normal. I actually don't know what the realism does. Tell me, game. It gives a ton of score. No idea what that is. The group limit, on the other hand, we're starting with most villagers in the beginning, but we have the hardest group limit that we can have, so that's, you know, our groups can't be bigger than 12 people. Again, I'm gonna get to that as we play. And we have Bloodbath on, which means that our villagers can get to negative hit points, which is fun. Now will you show me? Yeah, you can only have one building. Oh, okay, so we can only have one building of each type, and gathering is reduced to 1 pack per turn. Again, I'm gonna explain this as we go, don't worry. So this is the difficulty settings for the game that we're gonna play. I'm just gonna put this back to high. Actually, I want to see how godlike is. 250. Okay, so that's fun. Furious. Stunning ranges 10 and none. Realism normal. Group limit is 12. Bloodbath is on. Okay, so 310. Now I'm gonna start the play, but I'll kill the recording because you can see that actually it's loading very slowly. So I'll see you in the game when we get there. Okay everyone, the game has generated, and I would like to welcome you to our new village, which is called Ostoja. Now, we have a group of 5 people in Osta, and we have a group of 5 people here. This is the general game interface, so I'm gonna go around it explaining just a few things so that you guys understand what is happening. Now, first of all, this is a map. You can see that it's hex-based. Each of the groups that you have has a certain amount of moves during the turn. Village doesn't ever move. Now, each of these people in the village are actually truly existing. You can see that we get 5 people here, each having their own separate equipment and set of skills. So that's one thing that I absolutely love about the game. Now, there are resources. Oh, this is... Oh, well, it's kind of a poor, but we have some decent resources like herbs nearby. There's a huge amount of resources in the game that you can gather using your party and your village. Now, it shows that we can gather vegetables and wood in our village, and that there's a number of other resources around. Like, there's wood here, there are herbs here, there's water over there. And there's a number of evil things around the world, like monsters, events, and stuff like that. Now, in the game, you can also see that we have this thing here. Now is... I think this is like early, this is morning basically. There's early morning, morning, day, late day, evening, night, deep night, and stuff like that. During the night, I will try to get my people back to our village, or actually let them camp somewhere and protect themselves, because during night, monsters, and I mean big fucking evil monsters, roam the land. So it is quite important to know what you're doing with your people and plan a bit ahead. Now, whatever we do in the world will give us experience points. We have 5 here because I skipped the tutorial, so it gives you 5 extra experience points for that. And we have research. We have 2 points out of 13. Now, whenever we gain enough research points, we can research something. This is the gathering screen. This is the crafting screen. So, for example, if I selected the bows, we could suddenly craft bows. If I, for example, you can see that there's a grayed out resource here called clay. So if I selected, where is clay? Here, I could suddenly gather clay. Now, a lot of the game revolves around trying to collect different resources, so we're gonna spend a lot of time trying to work on that. You're gonna have a lot of chance to deal with it. Now, whenever we gather enough experience points, all of our people gain sort of a level, and they gain a specialized bonus. So for some it can be health, for some it can be damage, for sages it might be, I don't know, wisdom or will. Well, actually wisdom is called folklore here. You gather like mystical powers. For monsters, if you can get, for example, a ghost in your party, so that one would probably gain something like magic. You know, so various things can happen in the game. Now the game is story and event driven, so as we're gonna move around, we're gonna encounter random events that will sometimes be cool, sometimes will be horrifying. People die a lot. So with this thing said, I'm gonna start, as I started all the games before, I'm gonna move my villagers here, and I'm gonna put them back into the village. Because now you can see that we have 10 people here, and we have a number of resources and weapons and children and stuff like that around here. So what I'm gonna do now with the start, I'm gonna actually create a whole party, equip it, each of them, and then I'm gonna go around it explaining what I did. I'm gonna do this off cam because it's a bit of a hassle. I'll have to rename each of the people that we got in our village, so that will take a bit of time, and alt-tabbing out of the game I can't really record that. And I'm also gonna set up a bit of a production, check what kind of resources we have, because that's randomized each game. Maybe even start some building, but I would like to show you how that works. So I'll see you folks in a bit, and when everything is set up. Okay, I went through the equipment and it's not really all that good, honestly. We were kinda lucky with having the herbs and some of the clay nearby, but we were really unlucky with the equipment. So, we're gonna do it this way. We're gonna leave 4 people in the city and we're gonna take 4, 5, 6 people with us on an adventure. Now I'm gonna start with the city, where we have Romek, which is not a player character, and Lenka, which is not a player character, gathering food, and we have Czeslava collecting the wood. Remember, the resources are located here, so we can get them from the village. There's actually a way, endgame way, how you can gather more distant items, but as we have only wood here and some clay up there, it doesn't really mean anything to us at this point. So we're gonna collect some vegetables every turn, and we're gonna collect 6 wood every other turn. Now, this amount of how much you gather comes from the gathering ability which each character has. Some have none, but these are gatherers, so they each have a certain amount of points. The first guy always gets the maximum bonus, and the helpers give him half. So you can see that Romek here is giving 60 out of the 75, and he has Lenka helping him, and as she's second, she's giving 15 points, so that's 75. Well, here Czeslava is giving full 40. Now this is not ideal, and actually is really shitty, but what can we do? There's not much else I can do really about it. Also, their equipment is really terrible. I'm happy that this is how it is. Well, actually, this is like the leftover equipment. So Ramak has just a citrine axe, which is an awful one-handed axe. Well, actually, it's not that awful, but you know, he has only the axe with a bit of poison damage. Lenka has a bone crusher, which is a bad quality double-handed axe with the same damage that Ramak has, but without the actual poison bonus. Czeslava is having a heavy hatchet that gives 15 damage, and Radu, which is our craftsman, which we are going to leave behind, and I believe this is actually a player character, got a studded staff, which is a good quality piercing damage weapon. However, I really have no other equipment for these guys. So now I'm gonna show you how the crafting system works, because we're gonna start crafting. Now we want to craft a tool for Radu, which is gonna be our main crafter for now. And it seems like we were in luck. We got all that we could wish for. So we basically put in a primary material, which for now is gonna be steel. We're gonna make the handle and everything out of dark wood, and we're gonna put some wood down here as a catalyst. So you can see that this is gonna craft us a hammer, which will take 242 points. It's gonna weigh 88. I think she can handle that, and by doing this we're gonna gain 8 research points also. Now I'm thinking that we don't have any source of dark wood, yet we can gather clay later on in our village. So I'm thinking it might be better to do it like this, and it won't change much. The crafting is still the same, however it is much heavier, 116 compared to... Wait, what was this? I wanted to put you like that. Compared to 88. So can Radu hold it? That's a big question here. Yeah, she can. She has a limit of 200. As her strength is 4. Okay, so I think we're gonna make it out of clay, because that way it's, much better for us in the long run, because we're gonna save a bit of that darkish wood that we have. There's a 20% chance minus the crafting skill, which is 5, so 15% chance this is gonna be a shitty bad quality hammer. I would really not like that to happen. We can't also make more because we're missing a bit of clay, but I believe we can make that happen. In the same way, I would maybe like to create some gathering tools which would give our expedition a bonus. So we can make it, we got some scaled leather, which is great, and a wicker, which is absolute bitching for a beginning. So this would create a gathering basket with a rating of 4. That's a huge boost. I'm actually thinking, what if we made it like this? Okay, then it would be just 3. I don't have any other way. What about like this? That's 3 as well. No, we're gonna go all the way in. This little scaled leather is actually nothing compared to this. This will give us another 11 research points and allow us to do this. So once Radu finishes the hammer, we're gonna equip her with it, which ideally would get her to level 9 in the crafting, and then we're gonna create some gathering tools. Now let's get to the more interesting part, which is our party. Now we have 6 people there. The first one is the hunter Charna, or Harna, I would say, if I don't know how to pronounce it. Harna is interesting because he has a herbalism that's kind of good. He has also a decent amount of trapping, which will come in handy. Nice will, gathering of 5, so that's awesome. I gave him a battle slingshot, which is the only ranged weapon we have, and that gives him ranged damage of 7. Unfortunately, I don't have a better sword for him, so he just has a short sword with damage 3 and shielding of 5. And a decent buckler shield with armor 4 and shielding of 4. Also gives 1 dexterity. He also has an ivory bracelet, which is good quality, but gives only a backstab of 1. Don't worry me citing all of these statistics if you don't know what they do. We're gonna cover them as we go. Now then we have Goran, who is a warrior. He got a leather jerkin of 11 armor, 3 dexterity, and a stone warhammer, which is not very shitty, but extremely heavy. When you check it, it weighs 320, which is unbelievably a lot. Usually axes and stuff like that weigh about half. You can see that this sword weighs 45. Yaroslava is our second warrior. Unfortunately, I have absolutely no equipment for her, so she just got a thorn, which is a piercing damage weapon. Actually, pretty cool for a start. It has 6 damage and 3 poison, so I'm hoping that this will give us a good thing. Her intelligence is not much, but you know, she has some tactics and a decent amount of strength, which is important. I think she actually has more strength than Goran. Yeah, he has 10, she has 11. Goran has a bit of tactics himself, a bit of will, so there's not much difference between them two, except for the strength. We'll see how they level up. Then we have Ariel. Ariel is a gatherer. You know, these guys have a boost to gathering skill, so she has 4, and I gave her a small ember charm, which gives her 2 extra boost. Also 1 to craft. Unfortunately, I can't really do much with that, but I want to take this with our. Also gives her a special trait, which is concentration. I was kind of surprised that she has a divination skill, which will come very handy as we go. Now she has a training sword with damage of 2 and shielding of 5, and also a shield which gives her armor 2 and shielding 3. Her will is really good, and the divination skill is extremely good. I'm hoping that Ariel will get more of that. Then we have Mocked, which is craftsman. We're gonna take her with us. I always take one with me due to the folklore bonus, and she has a decent heavy hatchet, which is a 2-handed weapon with 16 damage and 3 poison. However, you know, most what I'm interested in is the speech bonus, which will come in handy. Ariel has a bit of speech as well. These guys have 2 and 3. And Charna has 4. I'm actually gonna call him Charna. I hope I'm not mispronouncing that. The last one we have is Sage Dektiarov. Very happy with him because he is incredible. He has a medic of 7, which is I don't think I ever had someone with such a high starting medic skill. He also has very high herbalism and folklore, bonus to magic, 6th sense, find weakness, and stuff like that. A bit of tactics too, very high will. The problem here is his very weak strength, so we're gonna suffer penalties. Well, not penalties really, but he just has a boar spear, a piercing weapon, and a small ember charm, and he doesn't have the ability to wear armor or anything else, so that's gonna be a bitch to play with. Hopefully he's gonna gain some strength as we go around. So that's our party. Now what I'm gonna do, each party needs food, so I'm gonna give them a bit of this raw meat for starters, so they don't really die from hunger. I don't think we need more. 40 should be enough. And we'll give, actually that gives them food for only like 6 turns, and we have no fire ability, so that's a bitch. We'll have to give them something as we go. Sure, let's give them, I don't know, 60. We don't know how far we're gonna go. Okay, that's 10 supplies. I'm gonna turn off these allow use of new items. The reason is because our village would automatically consume these rare resources that we have, a bit of grain, a bit of this is I think that's cherries and some seaweed, and they would burn these rare items, which is a bit of vicar, a bit of coal, and a bit of dark wood. The same I'm gonna do for my party, but we're just gonna have one food for now. Actually, it's important to equip your party with as much food as possible, because you can see that depending on the variety of foods they carry, they get certain bonuses. If they carry 2, they get a bonus to health. If they carry 3, they get another bonus to will. With 4, they gain another bonus to shielding and dexterity. And with 5, they get an extra movement point, which is super important. And then it really starts to scale up. At 6 they get bonus to intelligence, perception, and will. At 7 they get 4 points to health. At 8 they get bonus to ranged and melee damage. At 9 they gain faster healing. At 10 they gain another movement bonus. So I'm going to try to fabricate the possibility of them having way more food than they have now. But it's a start. So, our party is, I think, equipped to go. There is not much else I would like them to carry. And I'm just gonna send them... Yeah, this is... Yeah, we're not in a very nice region. This is really a tough region to move in. So I'm just gonna send them north. No, actually, let's send them south. Yeah, there are some treasures here. And that's pretty much all that we can do. And we already encountered an enemy called Hungry and Living. So that's gonna be a bit of an issue. But there are some plums here. That's exotic fruit. And we get some meat here. So that's actually not all that bad. We have that fairly close in case we need that. So I'm gonna end the turn now. And the game will give me something.
Strange-looking black rooster was seen perusing your village barn. You suspect this may be a cropsy, a domesticated field demon who can bring great fortune to its host. But beware, if it deems you to be a bad farmer, it may instead damage your crops or play nasty tricks.
Okay, so this is the first event we got. I can shut the barn tight, but I'm gonna, hope that this is gonna work. So we're gonna leave an opening in our barn wall for the cropsy to come in and out easily.
The cropsy seems happy with your work, and so your people bring in more crops from the fields, and your gardens give more fruit.
Nice! We got some extra fruit, a bit of grain, and some herbs. Awesome, and 2 experience points.
You come across a small group of goblin peddlers, carrying their cargo on some boars. One of them waves at you to come over. They do not look well armed. In fact, they look worn and tired.
Okay. Oh, they're waving us over, so let's talk to them.
Hello, fellow travelers. I am Cresio, a traveling merchant from the lower lands yonder.
He points to a direction, but seeing no recognition from you, he adds,
It's a tough and barren land, like most, but we called it home for many years. In any case, we had to leave. We dwelt by a river, and the plague of the drowned Utopke drove us away.
Okay, so these are basically, undead, drowned people. Yeah, these things can be tough. So what will you do now? It sounds like a good thing.
We decided to try the journey. You know, all that nomad mantra about the road and how we're all part of it. I'm not entirely sure about it. I grew up in an orcish settlement with science and houses and all. And I have to live like this now, eh? but you know how it is. You find a partner, you fall in love, and here you are, on the road. In any case, can we interest you in an exchange of goods?
That sounds good. Yeah, what do you have?
The goblin shrugs. Well, in all honesty, not so much. We can trade one simple weapon. We don't have the manpower to wield it anyway. But we'll only trade that for fruit and herbs to keep us healthy. Or some leather and some animal bones. We had us some good hunters a while back. We'll trade that for some metals. Or we can trade something for a blessing from our shaman. But you'll need to give us food, wood, and some herbs. It ain't easy for her to do. She will mark 2 of you with the good fortune of the road. So, what interests you, and what can you trade?
Man, that sucks. If we had, we had the fruit, we could have traded with them, but we don't. So sorry, we have nothing to spare.
Perhaps next time then. Farewell.
Yeah, farewell. It's 2 experience points, and I'm a bit nervous about this enemy here. They can attack our village, but what can you do? You know, we're gonna start to go here and check this.
Some ruins of an old city, engulfed in mist and mystery.
So the amount of skulls mark how dangerous this is. So 1 skull is not that bad, so let's search.
You open one of the buildings, a strange-looking stone and metal-built affair, and you hear a clunking noise, then a blunt thud. Before you are able to do anything, you see a skeleton charging your way.
Okay, so I'm gonna end the first episode here, and in the next episode I'm gonna actually show you how the challenges, whether it's fight or some other ones, work. So till next time, you guys take care.